Sorry about that. So you're going to go to y equals, and you're going to clear out anything that's in there, and you're going to type the number that's in this square root without the radical itself. So I'm going to type 50, and I'm going to divide it by x, which is right here, and I'm going to square it, which is this button right here. And then I'm going to look at my table. So I'm going to go to graph, second graph. And you always want to start at 0. So apparently someone was bored and was just clicking stuff in here. So I'm going to start at 0, and it should always give me an error. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for the last whole number pair before 0 point something. You'll notice here's 0.7. There's not actually a 0 in front, but that decimal point comes first. So my last whole number pair is 5 and 2. So the way I'm going to write that is I'm going to put the x coordinate, what's on the left-hand side, and I'm going to put the y coordinate, what's on the right, inside the radical. So C is equal to 5 radical 2. That's your answer. All right, so if we look at method number 2, method number 2 is using your distance formula. So it's doing a very similar concept, you're just not actually graphing it out. So the way I like to remember the distance formula is it's very cheesy and doesn't actually look like a girl, so use your imagination. But I'm going to draw a cartoon girl with hair. That's her hair. She has eyeballs and eyelashes. She has a nose and pupils. And then when you fill it in, you put your x's together and your y's together. The most important thing is that if you put the first x here, you have to put the first y here. If you put the second x second, you have to put the second y second. These have to match their coordinate pairs. The first goes with the first, the second goes with the second. So I'm going to label this as x1, y1, x2, y2, and then I'm going to plug them in. So I'm going to draw my girl and her hair. I'm going to draw her eyeballs and eyelashes. I'm going to put in her nose and her pupils. And then I'm going to fill in my numbers. So x1 is -5. x2 is 4. y1 is 3. y2 is -1. Negative and a negative do make a positive. Your calculator will accept, though, if you type negative, a minus, and then a negative. So what you're going to do in your calculator is you're going to type all of this without the radical itself. So you're going to type parenthesis -5 minus 4, and you're going to square it, plus parenthesis 3 minus -1, close your parenthesis, square it. And again, you could have changed both of those to a plus. That's okay. And you're going to click enter. So I have the square root of 97. And then I'm going to do the same thing where I go to y equals. I'm going to, instead of 50 right here, I'm going to put a 97. You'll notice I don't have to clear the whole thing out. I can just click 97. It'll type over my 50. And then I'm going to go to second graph to look at my table. Now, you'll notice 10 and 0.97 are my first pair that don't have, that's a 0 point something. And I don't have any whole number pairs other than 1 and 97. So this is actually going to stay as it is. It's not going to simplify at all. And that's how you do it. You pick either the Pythagorean theorem or the distance formula. No matter what, you always have to simplify your radical. You should never be writing a decimal. So you should never say, I want to know what the square root of 97 is, and write this decimal down. The only time we would do that is in a real world problem, because you don't really have any idea of how far the square root of 97 is. And if we're talking about a distance within a garden, this number doesn't help us. This number does. But the only time you're going to actually type it in your calculator is if it is a word problem with a real world situation. Good luck.